Are you concerned about your personal privacy? And the potential misuse of your data by third parties? Have you turned off the chat history in ChatGPT to safeguard your information? Here are 9 things that you should be aware of before disabling chat history. Number 9. Does OpenAI use our chat data for training its language models? This is one of the main reasons why we switch off chat history. According to this message, OpenAI doesn't save history for new conversations. Also, it doesn't use new data for training the models. Let's look for more details. This confirms that new chats are not saved and will be only kept for 30 days for review purposes. So, our data is safe once we disable chat history. Number 8. Is chat history disabled across all browsers and devices? Here, I am using ChatGPT inside Chrome browser. Now, I'm going to disable chat history. As you can see, it's blocked and the history panel is disabled. According to this message, it's blocked only for this browser. Let's use Edge browser and see what happens. Same account works in Edge browser, and the chat history is enabled. When I switch back to Chrome browser, chat history is still disabled. So, it's clear that the setting only applies to the browser you are using. Also, it will not work across devices. In short, if you want to turn off chat history permanently, you will have to switch it off in every browser, of every device you use. Number 7. Does OpenAI keep and use previous chats for training? According to Official Data Control's FAQ, the conversations before disabling chat history are still available. These conversations may be used to train the language models. Number 6. Do we still have access to previous conversations? Let's disable the chat history, while we have access to conversations. As soon as chat history is disabled, the chat history menu also gets disabled. Even though they are still displayed, we can't click and load them on browser. Let's enable chat history again and see what happens. Now, we have access again. In short, we completely lose access to previous conversations, while we work with disabled chat history. Number 5. Can we do multiple conversations? Usually, we can create new conversations for different topics or questions. Here, I have created 2 conversations. Each of those can be accessed from left menu. Let's disable chat history and see what happens. Now, the conversations are disabled. So, we have to just type our question here. If we want to start a chat for another topic, we don't have a way to create one. We have to either type the question on the same chat or clear the chat and start fresh. When we clear the chat, we lose all the details of previous conversation. Even if we enable chat history, that conversation is not available. In short, we can't do multiple conversations, while the chat history is disabled. Number 4. Can we continue previous conversations? I am on default settings with chat history enabled. I can easily go to a previous conversation and continue from where I left. Let's disable history and see what happens. Conversations are disabled now. So, I can't continue previous conversations. Even if I start a new one here, it will not be saved. So, we can't continue previous conversations when history is disabled. Number 3. What happens when we refresh the browser? Let's type some prompts. Chat history is disabled at the moment. Now, I'm going to refresh the browser and see what happens. All the prompts and responses are gone. We have lost everything we did in that conversation. Even if you refresh the browser by mistake or has restarted for some reason, all content will be lost. If chat history is disabled, be prepared to lose conversation. Trying to avoid long chats is the only solution at the moment. Number 2. Can we work with plugins and code interpreter? I have chat history disabled at the moment. As you can see, we have access to GPT 3.5 tab. Also, we have access to GPT 4 tab. Let's check GPT 4 with a test message. It's working without issues. However, you can clearly see what's missing. Even though GPT 4 is accessible, we are missing plugins and code interpreter. If you disable chat history, you won't be able to access both plugins and code interpreter. So, you will be limited to basic chat functionality. Number 1. Does custom instructions work when chat history is disabled? In custom instructions, I have added basic details on how to respond when asking for a blog post. If custom instructions are working, it should display a table with data. Let's see if it's working with default settings. I am asking for blog post on productivity tips. As expected, it's displaying a table with the data I asked for. Let's try the same request after disabling chat history. Again, we get the requested details in a table format. Which means, custom instructions doesn't depend on chat history. We can disable chat history and still use custom instructions. Let's summarize what happens when chat history is disabled. OpenAI doesn't use new conversations for training its models, while may use old conversations for training. Chat history will be only disabled in specific browser of a specific device. We lose access to previous conversations until the history is enabled again. We can't continue conversations, as we lose them when clearing the chat or refreshing the browser. We can't do multiple conversations. We can use custom instructions without limitations. We lose access to plugins and code interpreter. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and like this video to see more AI-related videos.